impressive, to say the least, for Utah State. First ever Mountain West game. And got a big lead in Colorado Springs against Air Force here today. Beginning the fourth. Keaton, 345 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 77 rushing yards. He's been spectacular. As advertised, Marshall crosses the 30, keeps the legs churning, and does have another Utah State first down. The Aggies, for their first 5 games, Arch, on the road. First time since '09 they've had that tough schedule. At Utah, the loss last week. Today at Air Force, a win coming up, looks like. Home to Weber State. At USC, at San Jose State coming up. At Southern California. That will not be easy as Nickel makes the play defensively.
And those are the games that Chucky Keaton, and for this team to get their recognition, that they have to go out and win. And they're not shy. They don't flinch when they play against those bigger schools. San Jose State certainly looks to be a pretty good team, but they have the tools, they have the quarterback, they have the athletes to be able to compete with everybody. And I think more so than that, they have the belief that they can compete and win against anybody.
Here's second out. Going to be Marshall sliding off left tackle, crosses the 25 and the 24. And that's exactly what Matt Wells told us in our conversation at Chucky Keaton when we spoke to the QB for the Aggies. Back that up, Arch, that we'll take on anybody anytime. We're trying to make a big name for ourselves. This is our time to do it.
And why not? You know, you can't control your schedule. All you can do is show up and play who you're supposed to play on any given Saturday. And they have a reputation of being able to play the schools really tightly. You look at that game last week, for most of that game, they outplayed the Utah Utes. It was some penalties, some long drives, the onside kick, but they have what it takes. And when you got a guy like Keaton pulling the trigger, anything can happen for the Aggies. This kid is absolutely brilliant at playing quarterback and the leader of this team.
Another completion. Keegan Anderson has his second catch of the day.
It looks like the Falcons defensively, they're tired right now. You can see they're laboring. They've gotten beat up.
Marshall launching toward the goal line. He's in. No, he's not. Just shy. Boy, it sure looked like the ball was in. We'll take a look at his knee.
Nice job by number 79 and number 68 out there on the right side of clearing the way. And I think you can see right now the Utah State Aggies, their size is starting to make a big difference in the game.
I'm not sure why that's not being reviewed, Arch. That was very close to being a touchdown. And I think that's exactly what Coach Wells is thinking about. He's going to take a timeout here and let the video official take another look or two from our TV production truck. Could have been a touchdown for Marshall. We'll find out next. Utah State head coach Matt Wells was hoping by calling timeout, the video replay official might take an official look. There was no official review here because, as our great crew, that fantastic look shows, Marshall's knee was down clearly before the ball crossed the plane.
It's a pretty good call in traffic for the ref.
Better than my call. I thought he was in. Way up here.
That was close.
It was close. From the 1, Marshall again toward the goal line. Didn't get there. Stopped by Spencer Proctor. Third and goal. Marshall again. Stood up. Pulled backwards. He didn't get there. He might have lost half a yard on that run. Stout play defensively for Air Force. Jamal Byrd up from his safety spot to make the play. Today's Red Zone being brought to you by Verizon. 4th and goal. Keaton throws. Touchdown. Keegan Anderson, the coach's son. First career touchdown catch for the junior from Logan. Brother Chasen went with dad Gary to play Wisconsin. Brother Hagan stayed with Keegan to play at Utah State. So one brother went with dad, one didn't. And Chucky Keeton continues to pile up career best numbers.
What
5
a day.
touchdown passes.
Yeah, what a day. And look, for the Falcons, they had 2 good plays, a goal line stand, but again, just a little bit too much from the Aggies on offense right now for the Falcons to deal with.
Chucky Keeton, as Evan said, Heisman candidate in the Mountain West, maybe nationally as well. (52-13), Keegan Anderson. Gotta make that Gary, former head coach in Logan at Utah State, pretty happy. Now the head coach at Wisconsin. Chucky Keeton, spectacular arch today, as we thought he would be. He's got everything going. Speed in terms of the open field and accuracy with a great arm.
Second half has been virtually flawless for Chucky Keeton in the Aggie offense. 23 touchdowns of 23 yards to Ronald Butler, 20 yards to Joe Hill, 36 yards to Travis Reynolds, and then you saw Keegan Anderson with the easy 1-yard reception. It's been good all day for Keeton, but this second half has just been an explosion.
By the way, Gary Anderson's Wisconsin Badgers won again today, beat Tennessee Tech 48-0. They beat UMass last week, so a good 2-0 start for the former Aggie coach, now coaching the Badgers in Mad City, Madison, Wisconsin. Geico difference makers, Chucky Keeton, arch. Wow, 5 touchdown passes.
Is that what you call a difference maker? He's been absolutely exceptional. He's carved up the defense. He does it week in and week out. Very rarely do you see him play a down game. And on the other side of the ball, not a lot of difference makers. Dexter Walker had a chance to kind of turn the game into the Falcons' favor early with a forced fumble. But overall, difficult day on defense for the Falcons.
Aaron Clinton Earl, sophomore from Milwaukee, gets another carry. Walker, we mentioned, as the Geico difference maker. Not much to celebrate today for the defense, just roasted by Chucky Keeton and the Aggie offense this afternoon. Second half has been very one-sided. Carson Roberts, sophomore from Houston, has taken over. Trying to make something happen for Air Force here. Tavares McMillan makes the tackle that time defensively. Junior from Miami.
If you would have told me, Rhino, that before this game, up to this point, Air Force would have 131 yards rushing on 43 carries, a team that averages about 319 yards per game, and the Aggies on the other side, 179 yards. That's dominating inside in the trenches.
Turning the tables, right? Roam hard. John Lee last week so effective against Colgate, but not today. And I think that goes back to the point about the Aggie defense as well. I know they had a lot of bad penalties in that first half, but athletically and in terms of competition they'll face in the Mountain West, this defense could be something to really complement Chucky Keeton.
That's been the only issue. Last week, penalties and explosive plays, which are both discipline problems, is what led Utah, gave them the ability to come back and win that football game. And early, when Air Force maybe had a chance, again, it was miscommunication, breakdowns in the secondary, and penalties that allowed Air Force to drive the ball. So they take care of that. They have the players to be a very good, tough, stingy defense.
Fourth down carry is a first down for Air Force.
It's a pretty good push by the offensive line against that front.
Carson Roberts effective on that play offensively for the Falcons. Paco Solano, reserve running back, getting some time here in the fourth quarter for the Falcons. Hart, Aaron Clinton Earl, Lacoste, John Lee, MacArthur, big weapons. Colton Huntsman for Air Force just not effective today.
And you talked to Troy Calhoun like we did yesterday. He talked about they have a chance if they can keep it close in the fourth quarter. This offense isn't built to come from behind. They have to be able, when they're playing against a team like Utah State, to keep this thing close, maybe make some plays in the fourth quarter to have a chance to win. But the way Utah State came out in the second half, absolutely no chance. They put this thing away early in the third quarter.
Roberts hit that time by Jordan Nielsen, sophomore from Lewiston, Utah. And 5 sacks last year for the Aggies. Roberts' option heads north and is tripped up. Cameron Sanders, senior from Oklahoma City, makes the play defensively for Utah State.
And here's what you like to see if you're Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator. Here in the fourth quarter, you have a big lead, but they're still playing hard up front. They're still flying around the football. They're still having fun out there. And so for a team that has this kind of a lead to play defense like this, some really good signs. And they've cleaned up the penalties and the mistakes here in the second half.
The first time Air Force partner has been in Utah State territory in the second half. Roberts throwing. Catch brought in by Garrett Brown. Reserve Falcon wide receiver, first touch of the day. Inside the 40-yard line to the 37. It's a Falcon first down.
Officials timeout for injury.
Tavares McMillan shaking up for Utah State. Slow to get up here for the Aggies. Really hate to see anyone in the 2 deep hurt at this point of the game. Such a big lead. He'll be helped off. Junior from Miami. Had a tackle against Utah last week. Coaches told us he definitely see more action today. He's been effective too.
Active players. They have guys on all 3 levels. Defensive line, linebackers, secondary. Guys that have the ability to be playmakers. They just quit with the knucklehead mistakes.
Gotta avoid those.
Gotta avoid those. Critical.
Roberts throwing. The go route. Air Force touchdown. Jalen Robinette, 37 yards out. Something to celebrate for the cadet wing here in Colorado Springs.
It's a nice throw and catch. Nice job by Robinette. Not to show his hands, not to show that he was going for the ball before it got there, which didn't allow the quarterback, Jeremy Morris, to make a play on the ball. Nice touch from Carson Roberts on the fade route.
His first career touchdown pass.
That is actually going good. Touchdown brought by ERA.
Saw Kel Pearson celebrating there with Robinette a moment ago. First career TD catch for the Air Force wide receiver, 52-20. Robinette's first career touchdown grab for Air Force, but it's not going to be enough today against powerful Utah State. Arch, welcome to the Mountain West for the Aggies. First ever game in Mountain West play, an outstanding debut for them.
You can't complain if you're Utah State. They did a great job. They got up early, which made it very difficult for Air Force to mount any sort of a comeback. A little bit sloppy in the second half, which made you think that if Air Force came out to play, it'd be tighter in the second half. But since they came out after halftime, Chucky Keaton, his wide receivers, the running game, and on defense, this has been a complete game by the offense and a defense. And if they can play like this every single quarter in their games this year, this will be an awfully difficult team to try and beat.
That is the question. Troy Calhoun, the Air Force coach, told us yesterday no one in all the film he's watched facing Chucky Keaton could slow him down. His defense couldn't. The question for you, can anyone do it later this year?
Well, not many people have shown the ability, and what he does, what he brings to the table is just his knowledge of the game, his ability to throw the ball, his ability to use his legs to create plays and let his wide receivers get open downfield. And so, look, you got a guy that has the it factor, the guys that gets it, understand what it takes to play quarterback at a high level, and that loves the game. They have a chance to win every single game they're a part of.
And Chucky told us, by the way, Colin Kaepernick, his #1 favorite quarterback, Russell Wilson not far behind after a great year with Seattle last season. Craig Harrison back up for Chucky. We'll get some time here in the fourth quarter as Marshall carrying Robert Marshall. Senior from Dallas, chewing up some more yards offensively, has 5 for Utah State. So USC beat Hawaii on CBS Sports Network. We go Thursday, our first game of the year. We know a little about Trojans and some of their quarterback troubles. Is Utah State a team that can beat the men of Troy?
I think they have a chance. USC, they have horses. They have guys. They have skill players. Their passing game, that wide receiver with Marquise Lee and Nelson Aguilar, those are tough guys to try and match up with. And I think defensively this year with Clancy Pendergrass, who understands how to design defenses to suit the Pac-12 and to deal with some of these multiple offenses, is going to be a tough challenge. But look, when you have a guy that deals like Keaton, you've seen it, college, the NFL, every level, you always have a chance.
They play at USC in LA September 21st. After their home debut against Weber State next week. Back down to Evan.
Hey guys, you've covered Chucky Keaton and what he's done on the field, but just watching him all afternoon on the sideline, he is the picture of a leader. And even right now, he's got a headset on, he's involved in the offense, he's giving obvious structure and leadership, really. At no point, it was calm, poised. But what's impressed me most is right now, where it's obvious that guys can start the recovery process. He made the point to get the headset on and be involved in play calling and helping out the backups to finish out this game.
Evan, Matt Wells could not say enough good things about Chucky Keaton. When we asked the coach who would work with him as his offensive coordinator.
Air Force's first timeout this afternoon.
Air Force is taking a timeout. Last year, quarterback coach OC was Coach Wells for Chucky. We talked about the football IQ, understanding of the total big picture. But Archie played a long time. Big star, college football, NFL. It's not just understanding the game. You got to be a pretty good athlete too. He's got the whole package.
He does. Last week, 78% completion percentage. Throws down the field. Today, 32 of 40 passing. Now, I'm not a mathematician. It's been a long time since I've been to school. I think that's 80%. So right now, he's dealing at about 80% accuracy with a lot of pass attempts. When a guy can throw the ball that well, it is awfully difficult to try and game plan and defend this offense.
Garrett Brown receiving that punt. Lets it go. Air Force gets it back when we return. Keaton and company, a tremendous day offensively.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by new One-A-Day Vita-Craves Plus Fiber. By Icy Hot, America's #1 topical pain reliever. And by Allegra Allergy Relief, fast, non-drowsy 24-hour allergy relief that starts working in 1 hour.
Air Force Academy opened in 1954, 70% military here and 30% civilian. 27 varsity sports, more than 4,000 cadets enroll here in Colorado Springs.
Ball carrier for Air Force.
Brett Romine, brand new quarterback for Air Force. Third we've seen on the day today.
2nd and 7.
Maybe he'll finish things out.
Well, it's kind of funny and interesting. We talked to Troy Calhoun yesterday, and we talked about, what if a weenie goes down, what are you going to do? And we kind of made a reference to Maryland's quarterback situation last year when they had to play a linebacker quarterback because of their injury problem. So right now, the Falcons really struggling to find a guy that can get the job done behind center.
Romine's first pass of his career, looking for Garrett Brown, is incomplete.
Keelan Hollis with the defense.
Keelan Hollis on coverage. Talk about Air Force, the difficult schedule ahead. Next up, at Boise State. Boise State got to be pretty upset after their blowout loss at Washington last week to open up 2013. Pass into traffic as Romine juggled, nearly caught by Brown, but incomplete at the 20-yard line. Speaking of those Broncos, trying for their first win of the season. Ohio State, we figured, would have an easy time with San Diego State, 42-7 the final there. All Broncos over Tennessee Martin. And Wyoming, so close with an upset win last week at Nebraska, hammering Idaho by 28.
Wyoming, they might be a team, if the first 2 weeks were any type of an indication, that you might have to watch out for this season. Offensively, looks like they can get it done. San Diego State, Rocky Long's defense, not a good first 2 games to start the season for the Aztecs.
Eastern Illinois and Ohio State, a couple of bad losses for San Diego State. Now it's time for today's Napa play of the game. A TD pass, one of many for Chucky Keaton. Here's Al Lewis, voice of the Aggies.
4th and goal at the 1. Keaton turns, play fake, rolls out, tosses it. It's caught by Keegan Anderson for a touchdown.
Our Napa play of the game. Good call, Al. A great game for Utah State overall. It's going to be a nice charter flight back from Denver. They're going to be feeling pretty good going back to Logan tonight.
Except for the defense, all the penalties and the big plays.
Plenty to improve on. Game 2. Watch out, Mountain West. These guys are good. Kelvin Lee gets his first carry of the game for Utah State in the final moments here.
Yeah, I guarantee you Todd Orlando will not be happy. They did a pretty good job against this rushing attack for most of the game, but those penalties and the big plays have to be standing out in his mind, regardless of a 52-20 score.
Coming up when we're done here, Tulsa, Colorado State, Mountain West against Conference USA from Oklahoma. The Rams and Golden Hurricane looking for their first win of the year. Lee another carry. And gains 11. Kelvin has a first down for the Aggies. 4 games on our air today and tonight. A Rutgers win, a Utah State win. It's about to be. We'll see between Tulsa, Colorado State, UNLV, Arizona, 10:30 Eastern tonight to wrap up the quadruple header. First of our season here on CBS Sports Network. I have a few of those for you. 4 games. Don't touch the remote control. Just stay there. Order a pizza. Watch football. You gotta love it. Lee another carry. Gain of 3. So who's hot and who's not? According to Adam Archuleta. Let's break this down.
A lot of hot teams, players, people to choose from this season. Florida State, obviously, with the great game they had against Pittsburgh. Jameis Winston, the quarterback, absolutely phenomenal, outstanding. Wyoming offensively, we just talked about it, really taking at Bo Pelini's defense in the Pac-12 South, doing an excellent job. Vernon Adams, Eastern Washington, knocked off the Oregon State Beavers last week with over 500 yards of total offense. That, my friends, is a dual threat quarterback.
Lee another carry. What a day and night it was for FCS teams last week. How about the who's not?
Well, the NCAA, come on. Johnny Manziel, one of his penalties is to address the team about lesson learned on Friday night before the Rice game. Obviously not very hot. San Diego State, we talked about it, really tough opening the first 2 games of the season. Last week lost 40-19 to Eastern Illinois. And Ben Affleck, look, you got the Batman part, huge to get. But when you have an online petition that's signed by hundreds of thousands of people to choose a new Batman, come on now.
You got to give Ben a chance in my mind. Here's Marshall carrying near the marker, and the spot's pretty good. Needed the 45 for a first down. Chains will move again for the Aggies. I mean, it's his first crack at Batman.
I know he's no
There's
Christian
so many
Bale.
haters out there.
Oh,
I like Christian
man.
Bale a lot in that role. I thought he was great.
He did great.
Utah State in no hurry here. Craig Harrison from Grantsville, Utah. JC transfer from Snow College in Utah. Produced so many great players. Here's Marshall running right, and he's upended in the open field near the 40-yard line. Take back your Sundays. Live updates from around the league, pregame picks, fantasy advice, and much more. That other pregame show premieres tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Adam Shine, Vaughn Scott, Brandon Tierney, Allie LaForce, former Oakland Raiders executive Amy Trask, joins our great crew as well. Tops that other pregame show. Can't wait for a football Sunday.
It's finally here. It's finally here. We got a little appetizer on Thursday night. Denver Broncos look pretty good, even without the pass rush combination of Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville. And this season couldn't come quickly enough.
That other pregame show, Tops, will take you all the way to kickoff at 1 Eastern. First Sunday of the NFL season. Can't wait. Nothing like it. CSU Tulsa, Mountain West, Conference USA coming up next. Joey DiMartino stays busy.
DiMartino is the ball carrier.
Nearly 220 rushing yards in the game for Utah State, 162 for Air Force. 360 in the air and 5 touchdowns for Chucky Keaton. He was something.
And I can't remember the last time the rushing totals have been this lopsided when we're talking about Air Force, regardless of what opponent they're playing. Aggies doing a great job on bottling up this run game of the Falcons. It's a tough scheme to have to defend.
DiMartino again. Gets to the second level.
Joey DiMartino brought down by
and leans forward to the 32-yard line. A job well done for Chucky Keaton. 2 divisions this year, Mountain West Conference. The first ever championship game comes your way on CBS December 7th, and the Mountain Division arch is loaded.
A lot of good teams, and Air Force unfortunately has to meet Boise State next week. I tell you, Wyoming looking good. Colorado State played pretty good against Colorado last week. Their inability to get the ball downfield, I think, hurt them, but Jim McElwain surely has that team headed in the right direction. But there's a lot of good football. I'm excited to see how the Mountain West plays out this season.
Victory formation and history for Matt Wells, who's about to win his first ever game as a college head coach. Impressive 52-20 blowout on the road at Air Force in one of the toughest places to play in the Mountain West. Chucky Keaton spectacular today. 5 touchdown passes, 77 rushing yards, more than 430 total yards today, making a name for himself yet again.
I don't know how you can play any better. He tried to force maybe one ball in there on the seam route, but he was virtually flawless. Accurate, threw the ball downfield. His feet were absolutely amazing, and his ability to use them in the run game and to escape pressure. He's the real deal, and he's going to get a chance to prove and show a lot of people across the country what kind of quarterback he is throughout the course of this season.
185 passing yards, Arch, in the first half with 1 touchdown. 175 in the second with 4 touchdown passes for Chucky Keaton. And the leading rusher in the game today as well. Not bad. Back down to Evan.
Right behind, take their helmets off.
Well, Coach, I know there was that stint as JV coach at Navy, but we're calling this win number 1 as head coach. How's it feel?
Well, it feels great to I'm just happy for the kids. You know, it's the first Mountain West game for us. It's as a athletic department, as a football program. And so it's big. It's on the road. To have a chance to win the championship in November, you have to win on the road. Story was obviously adjustments in the second half. What were you able to do in that second half to blow this thing open? I think we just executed. Our kids came out and executed right out of the gate. We told offense that, you know, their defense was going to be out first, but we had to go score the first 2 times, and we did it. And we scored touchdowns, and that's the only way you can beat these guys is scoring touchdowns. Another big afternoon from Chucky Keaton. Does he just continue to amaze you? Yeah, he's a good player, and he's humble, works hard, and so usually those guys have success. Thanks for the time, and congrats on win number 1. Okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Evan, thank you. Keaton now 6th in career total offense, Utah State history, with a tremendous day as he takes apart Air Force. Keaton and his teammates respecting the Air Force alma mater right now here in Colorado Springs. For Adam Archuleta, Evan Washburn, the entire crew, it's Dave Ryan saying so long. Been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from Colorado Springs. Thanks for watching. 52-20 is the final. How about Utah State? What a start to their Mountain West time. Now to the studio. Here's Brent Stover.